lot of my inspiration comes from the local environment around Walcha. Particularly love heading out to the gorge, really love the gorge country. It has a lot of interesting characteristics and rock formations and history, cultural history. But generally speaking, I look for interesting aspects in landscapes. I'm a landscape painter. Well, I've been in this actual studio for a couple of years now. I have a lot of room to move around and work on big pieces. I generally immerse myself in the landscape first. I like to spend time in that landscape, take photos, sometimes sketches. I bring the photos back to the studio and then use that as a reference point. A lot of people here in Walcha really appreciate art, they buy art and they support the arts. The gorge appeals to me a lot because of the diversity in the landscape. I mean, you've got the rugged bush, you've got wildflowers, you've got those really steep sort of rocks that just, you know, go right down into the gorge, and then you've got water down in the gorge. I mean, there are just so many different interesting elements out there. And I think often the more rugged a landscape, the more it appeals to me.
Hey Wag, you want to be in the movies? Come on.
Look at his little set there in front of us.
Sit down.
The father's coming.
This fella's 10 years old. He's a $100 dog, that's the best thing about him. I'm a visual artist, predominantly landscape-based, but non-representational, so I tend to paint about issues more than just a view. But I've always worked in this area and I've always lived here as a practicing artist. And although I've always showed in Sydney, in the old days that was really the only place you could show. There wasn't any galleries in the country areas at all. The scene has changed immensely. There's a sense of community, a sense of friendship in the area. Of course, the other unsaid thing is the landscape itself. It's sort of the country that I belong to. I've always worked from the landscape. Most people who live in a rural family help on the farm. That's just what you do. As a young child, you know, you don't watch television, you feed the dogs, the chooks, and you do your chores, and then you help at landmarking and all of that sort of stuff. So you're in the landscape. You're immersed in country. The community now is very arts orientated, hence the open air sculpture park. I can't speak for other artists, but I feel incredibly comfortable here. If I was in Sydney, I think I'd probably produce half the amount. I'm really fired up about Walcha. When my mother was alive, I knew that if she had a fall in the street, someone would pick her up, they'd get on the phone, they'd ring me. Everybody looks after everybody, and everybody tends to know everybody. And that's something that once areas get big and turn into cities, they tend to lose that. So it's a community for artists, but it's also a community for people. I just think it's a complete package.